The Black Panther is not a separate type of feline, but just an unusual color. Due to the increased amount of melanin, the panther's skin may become darker. Some of these animals are really practically black. Others are really dark brown, and then the black spots will stand out noticeably against the background of the coat. Black panthers are found among spotted felines, jaguars, and leopards. This coloring often helps them to disguise themselves, no worse than the usual spotted one. Actually, black panthers create pairs with other representatives of their species, which have the usual coloring. Usually, from a group of cubs, the minority will inherit the black color and the majority will remain spotted. But these kids of a pair of black panthers and an ordinary leopard were unlucky. A huge python focused not on sight but on the sense of smell and the ability to detect thermal radiation of warm-blooded animals, because their body temperature is much higher than the ambient temperature. When the python got into the lair of the Black Panther, the kids had almost no chance. Their mother came in too late. She was able to save only one, the last kitten. It is difficult for us to accurately judge the motives of the animals' actions because they themselves cannot explain them. In addition, the desire for revenge is considered too complex a feeling that requires not only a good memory and a developed emotional spectrum, but also an understanding of the relationship between the causes and consequences of actions. Therefore, the attack of the Black Panther on the python, which occurred much later, is interpreted by some as just a coincidence. But we believe that the cat was purposefully looking for the one who took the kittens from her in order to deal with it. At the same time, at first they couldn't afford it because the last kitten needed a mother. If she had started a fight right in the den, the baby could have suffered. First, it was necessary to find a new shelter, and only then to start looking for that offender. That's what proper prioritization is. And what do you think? Is this really revenge? Or just a leopard accidentally found a snake and decided to attack it just for food? Let us know in the comments. We are very interested to know what your opinion is on this. And there is no doubt about the patience and perseverance of the panther, especially if it has a powerful motivation. If you used to have to worry about cats who met big snakes, then here you can only sympathize with the snake. The fury with which the leopard attacked the python is really frightening, although we can understand it. Only the finale of the duel got into the camera lens. The leopard calmly and ominously approached a tall tree with a python in its teeth. It is not surprising that it was the male who found the python. Unlike tigers, who have little interest in the fate of their offspring, male leopards are caring fathers. Although these cats normally prefer a solitary lifestyle, the spotted daddy takes care of the kittens while they are very young. According to the state of the snake, it is clear how cool the predator has treated it. Like a horror movie character, a leopard easily jumps up at the tree with a heavy snake in its teeth and slowly, as if with pleasure, drags its prey up there. It is better not to associate lions with poisonous snakes. These predatory cats are fast and agile, but still rarely can dodge the rush of a swift cobra or a black mamba. But what they are superior to most other felines in is their brute physical strength. Therefore, the lion is one of the few who can fight even with the largest pythons. Where simple strength is not enough, the lion will take combat skills, in which he surpasses even the tiger. After all, the striped cousin usually deals with herbivores, but the lion almost always fights with other predators. The snake has nothing to surprise us with. This does not mean that the python does not have a chance against the lion. For example, in the case when a very young teenager allowed itself to attack a snake, this was the last mistake of its life. The python did not immediately manage to reach the young lion, but when it did not retreat, the snake showed that playing with it was a really bad idea. But if this is a huge male lion, it has a chance not to let the python entangle itself by using a trump card: powerful blows with its hind legs. With them, the male can repel the python. Here, the snake's chances are already falling. The lion trains in sparring with other lions so accurately to hit with its hind legs. With its front paws, he grabs them by the head, pulls them up for a bite, and tries to tear their stomach with its hind legs. Does this remind you of anything? Yes, domestic cats. If angered, will act almost the exact same way. But the real strength of a lion is its pride. As you understand, if a python can still oppose something against one lion, even the strongest one, then it cannot cope with several lionesses. When a python bites and grabs one, others come to their aid. They stretch out the python, grab it from different sides, and bite, holding it in this position. There is no land animal that has enough power to make a python stay on the ground without moving. But 4 lionesses at once might. The python just has nowhere to go. Does this mean that he is afraid of lions and always avoids them? Yes, but there is one exception. Lion cubs look very appetizing to the snake. Group hunting is such an effective technique against pythons that lionesses allow lion cubs to join the battle long before its finale. This is also part of the training. The python can escape at the last moment, but it's alone, and enemies are everywhere. It turns out that if a big cat meets a python, or for example, a poisonous snake, the result of such a confrontation will not be unambiguous. It all depends on many circumstances. If one side had an unambiguous advantage, then the second simply would not have survived to this day. The enemy would have exterminated the enemy. In fact, snakes and cats have their own trump cards. One-on-one, a jaguar or leopard can best cope with a python or boa constrictor due to a combination of agility and strength. Tigers have much less chance against such snakes, although they are larger than spotted cousins. The advantage of lions is the number. A duel of one adult lion with a python can end with the victory of both a snake and the cat, depending on the experience of the fighters. Cheeters and cougars should avoid all dangerous snakes, and no large cat can feel safe if a poisonous reptile is nearby. Small cats can still dodge the cobra's throw, but the bigger the beast, the easier it is to aim at it. A venomous snake does not care where exactly to dig in with its fangs. The main thing is to inject a dose of toxin into the victim's circulatory system. Therefore, a leopard, several lionesses, and a jaguar have more chances against this python together, but it is better for large cats to avoid poisonous reptiles. Who are you rooting for in this epic confrontation? Are the cats your favorite? Or maybe you prefer elegant, cold-blooded reptiles? If so, which ones, pythons or huge poisonous snakes? Share your opinion in the comments and don't forget to subscribe to be the first to see the most interesting and exciting moments of the world of wildlife caught in the camera lens. Attacking this bear was a big mistake. Even the numerical advantage of these wolves did not help them. He saved strength. To counterattack, the bear just needs to turn around to the enemy. And the wolves have to circle and dodge the crushing blows of the bear. But sooner or later, the giant would run out of strength, so he breaks into the forest. The bear uses trees as shelters, which do not allow wolves to surround him. The pack has to retreat. We will show other cases when the animals gave an impressive rebuff to the enemies despite the circumstances. The leopard caught the ungulate and dragged the prey up a tree. The problem is that in doing so, he caught the eye of a lion. A huge and powerful predator considers this territory its own and is against any neighborhood, not only with other lions, but also with any predators in general. The lion wants to take away a newly hard-earned lunch from a spotted distant relative, so he rushes to him and climbs a tree after the leopard. After all, both species are feline, they are nimble, and have retracted claws that retain their sharpness. Thanks to this, the lion is really good at climbing trees. Not as elegant as a leopard, but you've got to admit, not bad. He thinks that he can not only take away the prey from the opponent, but also deal with him himself, because he has 3 times more weight and superiority in strength. But the lion underestimated the enemy. The leopard is not going to fight with the lion, he just climbs higher. Moreover, the spotted cat climbs up not from the very beginning, but when the lion has almost grabbed its prey at the very last moment. This is not an accident. The leopard lures the lion higher because a large mass also means that the lion will not be able to climb the thinnest branches of the tree. And the leopard could. Besides, his strength should not be underestimated either. He easily dragged his prey to this height. The lion is shocked, but cannot reach the victim. In addition, he got carried away. He climbed high, and it is already more difficult for him to get off without the agility of a leopard. Have you ever been at a high altitude? The longer you stay up there, the scarier it gets. The lion was able to climb down from the tree without any serious damage, but he remained hungry. The leopard saved his prey and taught the enemy a lesson. Horses can be very aggressive. In the wild, stallions often fight for leadership in the herd and do not hesitate to use dangerous techniques against the opponent. They strike so hard with their hooves that they can break through a thin wall. And a horse bite can cause terrible pain because their teeth are ground and not cut off plants. That's why the pressure of their jaws is so strong. Getting into such a vice is a bad prospect. This stallion is well aware of his capabilities and wants to show the camel that he is in charge here. But the camel has other plans. This animal seems phlegmatic, clumsy, and meek against the background of a fast and impetuous stallion. But this is not the case. In fact, the camel just does not like to fuss. In reality, his strength corresponds to his huge size. He shows the horse who's in charge here. But pay attention. The camel really behaves surprisingly peacefully. He not only gives the stallion an impressive rebuff, but also immobilizes him so that he cools down a little bit. To do this, the camel knocks down the opponent and just lies on top of him. Due to the superiority in mass, this is enough to keep an angry stallion on the ground. In addition, the camel managed to immobilize the opponent in such a way that the horse could not reach either with its teeth or hooves. Look at the calm expression on the camel's face and the angry stallion. The humpback herbivore seems to be saying, "Why are you starting? Lie down, calm down. Then we'll discuss everything." For the proud stallion, a more insulting defeat, because the opponent did not even have to use dangerous techniques and only the mass was enough to win. But the aggressor understood the lesson, calmed down, after which the camel really immediately let him go. The nobility of a camel is worthy of your life, wouldn't you say? Foxes are smart and cunning predators who like to live in burrows, but do not like to dig them. This young couple decided to get a new family nest in the most typical way for foxes: to take it away from the previous owner who dug the hole. Except the foxes didn't run into some kind of a rodent, but a badger. It's a bad idea to mess with them, and now the foxes will understand why. At first, the red robber rushes at the enemy with a boldness that would command respect from his larger relative, the wolf. But then the fox realized that he had made a mistake. The badger gave an impressive rebuff. After all, he is a relative of the honey badger and the wolverine. And although in normal circumstances badgers do not show aggression and can even cooperate with foxes, these squat and stocky animals will react quite coolly to an attempt to take away their home from them. The badger's hide is very durable, and although its compact body is much smaller than that of a nimble fox, the squat silhouette gives its advantages. It is easier for the badger to counterattack. He responds to attempts to grab at the throat with painful and unpleasant bites right in the fox's face. And the redhead won't let up. Having been punched in the face, he still returns for another portion of punches. And apparently he does not want to embarrass himself in front of his female. He can be understood, but the badger has amazing stamina and knocks the fox out of its hole. Only when the female and male join forces, they manage to expel the badger. But still, this little baby not only survives after a battle with two larger predators, but also remains intact. You cannot say that about the foxes. Perhaps the badger gave them a hole out of pity so that they could lick their wounds there. Usually, only male lions fight for leadership in the pride. The leader protects his status, territory, and cubs, and the intruder tries to displace and expel him, or bite his throat. But there was no duel here. The young lion got involved with the wrong pride. Instead of going out to a one-on-one duel, everyone attacked the intruder. Both males and females attacked the alien. He is in shock and managed to receive several heavy blows to the muzzle from both lionesses and lions. We must pay tribute to him. A young, aggressive, and strong lion managed to fend off several predators and even stood up to them. But of course, there is no chance of winning. The battle looks impressive. Blows flash by, a roar is heard for miles, claws and fangs keep getting to the target, but so far without any fatal consequences. The stranger learned a painful lesson and went on the run, and the pride is chasing him. He did not expect such a reception, but now he will definitely remember this place and will never return here again. The defense proved to be very effective. Why do you think, in other cases, lionesses do not come out with male lions to protect the pride altogether? Let us know in the comments. Any kind of hyena is dangerous with its strong paws, but the striped one is probably the coolest. Her jaws are especially strong, and her size allows her to compete on equal terms one-on-one with leopards and young lionesses. This hyena noticed an armadillo that was looking for something tasty. The predator lunged forward. She is confident in her abilities. The victim is still young, and if she manages to curl up into a ball, the hyena's powerful fangs will open her armor. And if he doesn't make it, so much the better. But the battleship, instead of going into a blind defense, broke into a run and tried to retreat. The hyena was already celebrating victory at that moment because the battleship would not ever be able to break away from such a pursuer. But the predator did not realize that the armadillo was not running in a panic in a random direction at all. He has a plan. Suddenly, he stops and does a somersault. The hyena does not understand what is happening. Does the armadillo twist into a ball on the run? She jumps on the prey and raises a whole cloud of dust. And when it settles, the hyena is alone. Has the armadillo disappeared? Is he a magician? Or a ninja who can disappear in a cloud of smoke? Well, the animal has a lot of tricks. His hole turned out to be here. From the side, it is almost impossible to notice it. No mounds or bumps, just a little hole in the ground, designed exactly to fit the dimensions of the battleship. The large hyena has no chance to get in there, and the hyena will not be able to dig it out with its thin paws. It was not necessary to underestimate this opponent.